Welcome to this lesson on community mobilization, focusing on law enforcement's role in this important effort. Listen as sheriffs from 3 neighboring counties describe their role in community mobilization.
Let me get back to the sheriffs here to talk about this. It seems like this is an overwhelming problem. So how do you deal with it? How many of your officers are focusing on this, Paul?
Well, it's hard to say how many are focusing in that it is a problem that permeates our environment. We have what we used to call a methademic that was in Pierce County. We've done a great deal to lower that now. And what we have to do is work not just with our specialists, not just with our people in our special investigative unit, our drug unit, but patrol people and traffic people and all of those groups. But that is not totally the answer, because the public needs to work to be involved. We need to work with them in educating them to recognize, to help them prevent labs coming into their neighborhood, and to help them recognize when meth is advancing, whether it be through property crime issues or through use of the drug. So it's not a focused on a small unit kind of basis. This needs to be a large community mobilization that involves law enforcement, the public, the treatment community, educators, to work together to do something about it. That's the only way you can address a true methademic.
What troubles the two of you most about this drug?
I think meth has been, in my experience, one of the most difficult addictions to break. Not just the chemical addiction, but people who get into what we call the meth lifestyle, they destroy their support systems around them, and it makes it much more difficult to reintegrate back in the community. One of the things that has been effective in King County, we have drug courts, and we're trying to approach literally meth addicts one person at a time to fix the problem, because each person that we can get off meth is going to decrease some amount of crime. That's been very helpful. It has to be, it's got to be a multidiscipline approach, because it's a medical problem as well as a crime problem.
Rick Barton, want to add anything to that?
I think the thing that bothers me the most is what it's done to our kids and our families, and to see families that are what we would consider a normal family in our community just torn apart by meth because someone in the family is using it, particularly one of their children. Just, it's heartbreaking what's happened. And if that doesn't motivate anybody in the community to get involved and try and stop this problem, I don't know what will. We could tell you story after story about what it's done to the kids and the families. We're killing a generation.
Stemming the meth epidemic is a community effort, not just a law enforcement task. We know from experience that meth supply will continue to flow as long as there is demand. For instance, when new laws curtailed precursor ingredients in the U.S., traffickers simply began smuggling meth from Mexico. When your community mobilization combines law enforcement with prevention and treatment professionals, it forms an effective supply reduction strategy that is likely to have a lasting impact on drug abuse and its collateral damage. A fully mobilized community is one in which everyone shares a common vision for a healthy and sustainable future. When prevention, treatment, and law enforcement work together toward that common vision, the power of collaboration will build strategic actions that lead to positive community change.
Community mobilization is a social change process.
It's a real organic process and a real process that has its pulse on what people care about, what they care about most, and what needs to change.
To problem solve local issues locally, together.
Solution oriented, it's people focused, it's community focused, it's community driven, local solutions, true grassroots leadership, inclusive.
Bringing the voice of community to the table and to policy and community issues is really what community mobilization is all about. We're the place where voices can be heard.
Community mobilization is the ultimate expression of together we can really make a difference.
Communities Communities that come together early and develop supportive collaborations enable more success for enforcement, prevention, and treatment efforts. All are necessary to a successful drug reduction and prevention strategy. Without this early and continued collaboration, there is a danger that there will be competition for funding, resources, and power. This will leave all three areas shortchanged.
You know, it's really odd that in our society the notion of prevention isn't just like, you know, just at the soul of what people understand, but it isn't. It seems like people are apt to more likely respond to something rather than to work hard to prevent it. So I think part of it is that in our society, in our culture, prevention isn't yet like a worldview that everybody owns. And so the mobilizers, you know, they're up against that a lot of times. I mean, we understand the value and the worth of prevention, and a lot of folks in our communities, they don't have their heads wrapped around that yet. So I think that's something that struggle with.
In your packet is a sheet labeled Risk Factors. Please take that out now. All of these factors have been found to be predictive for risky youth behavior, particularly as it relates to drugs. You can probably see that all the risk factors carry concerns for law enforcement, prevention, and treatment professionals, and advances the thought that all three disciplines need to work together. Examples: if drugs are easily available in a community, it is more likely that members of that community will use them. This impacts prevention teams as they try to slow demand, law enforcement as it works toward interdictions, and treatment units as they battle to get users off the drugs. Likewise, family conflict or problem behavior can push teens toward drug use. So can a lack of effort or success in school, or friends who engage in problem behavior.